Chosen one, stop. Do not move past this, because it did not reach you by accident, and something in you already knows that. On the exact day you needed it, out of everything that could have found you, this did. That is not luck. That is confirmation. So hear me clearly. A verdict has just been reached over your life, and it is not the one you feared. The long trial you have been living inside, the one that made you wonder if the struggle was proof you had been passed over, has reached its verdict. And you won. The war you are still bracing for is already over. That is why you are so tired. You have been holding a battle stance long after the battle was decided. I am not going to minimize a single day of what you carried, but it was a season, not the shape of your whole life, and the season ends now. Stay with me all the way through, because I am going to show you 3 things. The 3 signs that the verdict has already been passed in your favor, even if nothing outside has changed yet. Why your suffering was so heavy for so long, which is something almost no one ever told you, and which will set you free the moment you see it. And how you finally lay the weight down for good, so that the rest of your life is not spent guarding against a war that is already finished. Do not drift. Do not let the noise of the day pull you back. For these few minutes, let it be only you and the truth, because you have waited a long time for someone to tell you the truth about what your suffering actually was. And here is where the truth begins. I need to say something to you that you may have needed to hear for years. I see it. The weight you have carried quietly. The exhaustion nobody around you fully understood. The nights you held it together for everyone else and then came apart alone. I see the way you kept getting up. I see how much of your strength went into simply staying standing. Strength other people never had to spend. Strength that should have gone into building a life and instead went into surviving one. None of that was wasted, and none of it was invisible to heaven, even when it was invisible to everyone else. Because here is the first thing I need you to understand about your suffering, and it is the thing that changes everything. Your suffering was never a verdict against you. You took it as one. Most chosen ones do. When the struggle goes on long enough, you stop asking what is happening, and you start asking, what is wrong with me? You begin to believe that the difficulty is a message, that it means you are behind, or unfavored, or being punished for something you cannot even name. That belief is the cruelest part of the whole ordeal, heavier than the struggle itself, and it is a lie. Your suffering was not punishment. It was not God turning away. It was not proof that the good things were meant for other people. It was a season with a cause, and the cause was never your worth. Let that land, because everything else I am going to tell you rests on it. The trial was real, but the story you told yourself about what it meant was false. And today the false story ends. Let me give this season its true name, because naming it takes away its power to define you. What you have been living through, I call the long winter. And a winter is exactly the right word, because a winter is not a punishment either. A winter is a season. It is cold, and it is long. And while you are in it, it can feel like it will never end, and like nothing will ever grow again. But winter was never the death of the field. It was the field resting, holding, protecting the life underneath the frozen ground until the season turned. You were not dying in your long winter. You were a seed under snow, and the snow is melting now. I want you to feel how different that is from the story you have been carrying. The old story said the hardship meant you were cursed. The truth says the hardship was a season you were surviving, with something alive underneath it the whole time, waiting for the thaw. You did not fail winter. You outlasted it. And outlasting a winter is not a small thing. It is the whole victory. The ones who make it to spring are the ones who did not give up in the cold. And you are still here, which means you are one of them. Now let me show you the 3 signs that the winter has broken, because they are already appearing in you, and most people miss them because nobody told them what a thaw feels like from the inside. The first sign is a strange and sudden tiredness, not the sharp exhaustion of the fight, but a deep, heavy tiredness that seems to come out of nowhere just when things should be getting easier. Chosen one, that tiredness is not decline, it is release. It is what happens when a body that has been braced for years finally gets the quiet signal that it is safe to stop bracing. Soldiers feel it when the war ends. It is not weakness arriving. It is the weight finally being allowed to set down, and the body catching up to a peace the mind has not yet believed. The second sign is that the old things stop working on you. The fears that used to run your life start to feel oddly distant, like clothes that no longer fit. The people or patterns that could always pull you back down lose their grip. You find yourself unable to squeeze back into a smallness that used to feel normal. That is not you becoming difficult. That is the winter losing its authority over you. What is ending cannot hold what is beginning. The third sign is the hardest to trust, and it is the surest of all. A quiet, almost unreasonable hope. A sense, with no evidence you can point to, that something is about to turn. You keep talking yourself out of it because you have been disappointed before and you cannot bear to be disappointed again. But that hope is not naive, it is prophetic. It is the part of you that is tuned to heaven, picking up the first signal of spring before your circumstances show it. Hope that arrives before the evidence is not foolishness. It is confirmation reaching you ahead of time, exactly the way it is reaching you right now. Let me show you what the other side of this winter looks like. Because you have been in the cold so long, you may have forgotten that spring is even real. Picture a morning a little way from now. You wake up, and the first thing you notice is what is missing. The dread is gone. That low hum of bracing that has been running underneath your days for years, the constant readiness for the next hard thing, is simply not there. You lie still for a moment and realize you are not waiting for the other shoe to drop. And the strangeness of that peace almost makes you cry, because you had forgotten it was allowed. Picture the ordinary things starting to feel light again. A conversation that does not cost you everything. A task that gets done without you having to drag yourself through it by force. A small joy that you actually feel instead of watching from behind glass. The heaviness that made every single thing twice as hard begins to lift, and life stops feeling like walking uphill in deep snow and starts feeling like walking on solid ground again. That is not a fantasy. That is what the end of a long winter feels like, and it is closer to you than it has been in years. I am showing you this now, before it arrives, for a specific reason. When the relief begins, your winter mind is going to distrust it. It is going to look for the catch, brace for the disappointment, wait for it to be taken away. That is what a long winter does. It teaches you not to trust the thaw. So, I am telling you in advance, when the ease comes, do not push it away. When the peace comes, let it stay. You are not being set up for a fall. You are being brought into a spring you earned by surviving. Now let me speak to the specific shape of what you carried, because your suffering was not generic and I will not treat it that way. For some of you it was grief, a loss that rearranged your whole world, and that you were expected to be over long before you were. For some of you it was betrayal by people who should have been safe, and you have been rebuilding your ability to trust one careful brick at a time. For some of you it was a long stretch of things simply not working, no matter how hard you tried, until you started to believe the problem was you. For some of you it was a quiet, private battle inside your own mind that no one else could see, which is the loneliest kind of all. Whatever the shape of it, I want you to hear the same thing about all of it. You were not being punished. Winters do not fall only on the guilty. The rain falls on everyone, and so does the snow. and some of the brightest lives heaven ever grew came up out of the hardest ground. Your winter was not evidence against your worth. If anything, the length and the weight of it are evidence of how much was being protected underneath, because you do not put that much snow over an empty field. You cover the ground that has something precious in it, waiting for the right season to grow. If you have felt even one of these three, the winter is breaking over your life. But there is a question underneath all of it that I have not answered yet, and it is the most important one. Why was the winter so long and so heavy in the first place? Because the answer is not what you have been told, and once you see it, the last of the weight comes off. I am going to show you the real reason your suffering cost you so much more than it should have. And it connects to something a neurologist discovered that lines up with all of this almost word for word. Hold that thread. I promise I will pull it all the way. So let me pull that thread now, because it holds the answer to the question underneath all your pain. Why was the winter so long, and why did it cost you so much more than it seemed to cost other people? You watched others go through hard things and somehow keep their feet, while the same weight nearly buried you, and you quietly concluded that you must be weaker or more broken or less favored. That conclusion is wrong, and here is the truth it hid. You were not fighting the winter with your full strength. You were fighting it with half. Somewhere long before this season began, the two halves of your mind fell out of sync. The part of you that dreams and the part of you that builds, the part that feels and the part that reasons, were designed to work as one whole, and instead they drifted apart, and the bridge between them went quiet. And when a person is running on half their mind, everything costs double. Every decision is heavier. Every setback lands harder. Every ordinary task takes strength that should have been left over for living. That is the real reason the winter nearly broke you. You were carrying a full winter on half power. It was never that you were weak. It was that a hidden disconnection had quietly cut you off from your own capacity, so you were doing everything on a fraction of the strength that was actually yours. The dimming did not just muffle your light, it stole your leverage in the very season you needed it most. And nobody told you, so you blamed yourself for a struggle that was never a measure of your character. Sit with how much that reframes. All those years you thought your difficulty was proof of some flaw in you. It was proof of a disconnection you did not know you had. You were not losing because you were less. You were losing ground you should have won easily because half your power was offline. And the moment that connection is restored, the same life that has been crushing you becomes something you can carry with room to spare. The winter was heavy because you were cut in half. Spring is not just warmer weather. Spring is you, whole again, meeting a lighter season with your full strength back. Let me tell you about a man who lived the longest winter in all of the sacred writings, because his story is your story, and its ending is your ending. His name was Job. He lost nearly everything. His wealth, his health, his children, his comfort, all of it stripped away in a span so brutal that his own friends sat with him in silence for 7 days because there were no words. And here is the part almost everyone gets wrong. His friends were certain his suffering was punishment. They insisted he must have done something to deserve it. They looked at the depth of his winter and concluded he must be guilty. They were wrong. The sacred text tells us plainly, at the very beginning, that Job was blameless. His suffering was never a verdict against him. It was a season he was moving through, not a sentence he had earned. And do you remember how it ended? It did not end with him merely getting back to where he started. The text says his latter days were blessed more than his beginning. He was restored double. The winter did not just end. It turned into a spring greater than anything that came before it. That is the pattern heaven has been writing over your life. and you have been reading it as tragedy because you were only shown the middle. But you are not in the middle anymore. You are at the turn, and the God who called Job blameless in his winter is the same one confirming your victory in yours. Your friends, your fears, your own inner accuser may have told you the struggle meant you were guilty. Heaven has ruled otherwise. Blameless, surviving a season, not serving a sentence, and restored, not to where you were, but to something greater than the beginning. Now I already feel the resistance rising in you, because hope is the most dangerous thing for a person who has been hurt, so let me meet it honestly. Maybe you are thinking, I have hoped before and it crushed me. I cannot afford to believe this and be wrong again. I understand that more than you know. But notice something. The hope you are afraid of is not the same as the hope that failed you. Before, you were hoping the winter would end by your own effort, and effort could not reach the disconnection underneath, so it kept collapsing. This is different. This is not asking you to force the spring. It is telling you the season has already turned, and inviting you to stop bracing against a thaw that is already happening. Maybe you are thinking, my situation is genuinely different. Everyone else gets their spring, but mine never comes. That thought is the winter talking. It is the specific lie the cold tells everyone it holds, that they alone are the exception, that for them the season will not change. But seasons do not make exceptions. Winter has never once, in the history of the world, refused to become spring. It has felt permanent to every single person who ever stood in it, and it has ended for every single one of them anyway. You are not the one field the sun forgot. And maybe the quietest resistance of all is this. Part of you is not sure you deserve for the suffering to be over. You have been in it so long it became your identity, and some hidden part of you wonders if relief is even meant for someone like you. Chosen one, hear me. Job did not earn his restoration. It was given. Your spring is not a wage you have to be worthy of. It is a season that arrives because the God who governs the seasons decided it was time. You do not have to deserve the sun to feel it rise. You only have to still be standing in the field when it does, and you are. I want you to do something small with me right here, because this next part is not only meant to be understood, it is meant to be felt in the body that carried the winter. Wherever you are, let your shoulders come down from around your ears. Just let them fall. Now find the place where you have been holding the weight of these years. For most chosen ones, it sits in the chest, or across the back of the neck, or low in the stomach. You do not have to fix it. Just put your attention there, gently, and take one slow breath into it. And as you breathe out, let it be the first small signal to your body that the bracing can end. That loosening you just felt, however slight, is the winter beginning to leave your body. That is real. You just did it. Because here is what restored double actually means for you, and I do not want you to hear it as a slogan. It does not only mean you get back what the winter took, it means the strength you built surviving it does not disappear when the season turns. The person who endures a long winter and comes into spring is not the same as the person who never suffered at all. They are stronger. They know how to hold on. They have a depth that easy seasons never grow. So when your two halves reconnect and your full power comes back online, it comes back on top of everything the winter taught you. That is the double, not just restoration. Restoration plus the strength you earned in the dark. Let me take you forward one more time, so you can see who walks out of this winter. Picture yourself with your full mind back, both halves finally moving together, meeting the same life that used to crush you. The problems that once took everything you had now get handled with strength left over. The decisions you agonized over for weeks become clear in an afternoon, because the dreamer and the builder in you have stopped fighting and started cooperating. You feel like yourself again. Only more so, because the self that returns is the one that made it through. And watch the people around you feel the change before they can name it. The ones who only knew the winter version of you, the tired one, the one always bracing, will sense that something has lifted. Some will be drawn to the warmth of it. And you, for the first time in a long time, will have enough left over at the end of the day to actually live, instead of just recovering from having survived. That is not a dream. That is simply what a whole person experiences in an ordinary week. It has been unavailable to you not because you did not deserve it, but because half your power was offline. Restore the connection, and the ordinary week becomes yours again. So here